Amazon just eliminated 14,000 UK jobs in a single week. 14,000. Their Shoreditch headquarters, which once employed 3,500 people, now has just 800. Manchester fulfillment centres are running on skeleton crews, and their Edinburgh tech hub has been completely shuttered, and they are far from alone. Meta followed with 8,000 UK layoffs, Google cut 6,000, and Microsoft axed 4,500. In total, 42,000 tech jobs have vanished from the UK in just 6 months. But here's a number every London property owner should fear. Each tech job loss drags local property values down by an average of £12,000. Do the math. That's £500 million wiped from property values just from these layoffs. And the truth is, this is only the beginning. City Hall keeps insisting London remains Europe's undisputed tech capital. While officials were making that claim last week, 3 more tech companies announced UK office closures. The gap between the narrative being sold to the public and the reality on the ground has never been wider. I've been tracking every major tech layoff in the UK for the past year. Not the polished press releases, but the real numbers. Amazon's UK workforce is down 68% from its peak. Meta's London headcount dropped from 4,000 to 2,200. TikTok broke their Farrington lease, paying £40 million just to escape. The property market in tech areas isn't just correcting, it's imploding. Shoreditch is down 34%, King's Cross down 28%, Canary Wharf Tech Towers down 41%. And this is just the start. Let's break down what Amazon alone has done to the UK property market. At its peak, Amazon employed 35,000 people in the UK. Today, just 11,000 remain. That's 24,000 high-paying jobs erased. The average Amazon tech salary was £87,000, meaning £2.1 billion in annual salaries has vanished from the UK economy. But the impact goes beyond numbers. Amazon didn't just cut jobs, they abandoned entire offices. Their Shoreditch headquarters, 1 million square feet, is now 70% empty. Principal Place, their showcase building, has ghost floors everywhere. The Manchester tech hub, designed for 5,000 workers, never exceeded 1,200, and now only 300 remain. Apartments and houses bought by workers who believed they had stable jobs are flooding the market in panic sales. Edinburgh was even harsher. Amazon promised 10,000 jobs by 2025, delivered only 2,000 by 2023, then closed the operation entirely. 2,000 families were suddenly without income in a city with virtually no other tech opportunities. And here's the ripple effect. Every Amazon employee supported 3 additional jobs in restaurants, gyms, and local services. So the loss of 24,000 Amazon jobs has affected 96,000 people indirectly, equivalent to the population of Cambridge becoming economically irrelevant overnight. Amazon isn't unique. Every major tech company is fleeing the UK. Meta's King's Cross campus, built for 6,000 workers, now houses just 900. Entire floors are sealed off, cafeterias shuttered, and lights automated because no one is there to switch them on. Google bought their billion-dollar King's Cross building in 2021. Now they're struggling to sublease 60% at any price because the UK tech sector is collapsing. Microsoft shut their Reading campus completely, eliminating 3,000 jobs overnight. Oracle moved its European headquarters from London to Dublin. Salesforce cut its UK workforce by 70%. Startups are facing an even grimmer reality. In 2022, London had 3,200 fintech companies. Today, only 800 are still operating. The rest are zombies, technically alive, but with no funding, no customers, and no future. Venture capital tells the same story. UK tech funding was £29 billion in 2021. This year, just £6 billion. That's an 80% collapse in investment. VCs haven't just slowed down. They've abandoned the UK entirely. The property data in tech-heavy areas is apocalyptic. Shoreditch, once touted as Europe's Silicon Valley, is experiencing a total collapse. Average prices are down 34%, but that only scratches the surface of the devastation. New builds are down 48%, converted warehouses down 56%, and some properties have plunged 70% from their peak. A penthouse that sold for £2.4 million in 2021 just resold for £900,000. The owner, an Amazon executive, lost £1.5 million in just 3 years and considered himself lucky to find any buyer at all. Transaction volumes have collapsed. In Hackney, sales are down 67%, and properties now average 140 days on the market, compared to just 28 days in 2021. Estate agents report entire weeks without a single viewing. The rental market is equally devastated. Premium rentals that tech workers once paid £4,000 per month for cannot now rent for £2,000. Landlords offering 6 months free still can't find tenants. Build-to-rent developments are catastrophic. The Atlas building in Tech City, the stage in Shoreditch, all 70% empty. The white-collar factory in Old Street is half empty, even after cutting rents by 40%. Official statistics, quietly released, recently paint a terrifying picture. London lost 112,000 international workers in the past year. Not students, not tourists, workers. People with jobs, mortgages, and families. EU tech workers leaving numbered 43,000, American workers 28,000, Asian workers 31,000. And it's not just foreign workers. British tech talent is fleeing too. 27,000 moved to Dubai, 19,000 to Singapore, 15,000 to Austin, 8,000 to Berlin. LinkedIn data shows UK tech job postings are down 74%, and salaries for the remaining roles have dropped 22%. Senior developers who earned £200,000 in 2022 are now accepting £120,000. The demographic shift is catastrophic. Shoreditch lost 31% of its population, King's Cross 24%, Canary Wharf 19%. These aren't minor declines, they're massive evacuations. While London burns, officials are hosting tech summits nobody attends. Last week's London Tech Week was a disaster. Bloomberg pulled their sponsorship and Google didn't even send senior executives. The main hall, built for 5,000, had maybe 300 attendees. Speakers outnumbered the audience. And the official response? More marketing. Another £100 million spent on campaigns proclaiming London is open for business. Open to what? The tech companies are gone. The workers are gone. The investment has left. The latest desperate pivot is AI. London will be the global AI capital. Except AI companies employ barely anyone. OpenAI's UK office has 12 people, Anthropic, 8. These are not job creators, they're headline-grabbing job destroyers. Behind the scenes, the picture is far worse. Internal transport for London data shows tube usage in tech areas down 41%. Revenue projections are catastrophic, and service cuts are being modelled because no one is commuting to jobs that no longer exist. Economic modelling shows London could lose 400,000 jobs by 2026, property values down 35%, tax revenue collapsing, municipal bankruptcy possible. Yet publicly, everything appears fine. Here's something almost nobody is talking about. UK pension funds invested heavily in London commercial property, especially tech office buildings. That investment is now effectively worthless. Legal & General's property fund is down 43%, Aviva S down 38%, Standard Life down 47%. These are not paper losses. They're permanent destruction of retirement savings. The collapse is hidden because funds refuse to mark to market, but forced sales reveal the truth. One Canada Square sold for £1.2 billion in 2019, now valued at £400 million, a 67% loss. Amazon's principal place today would fetch maybe 40% of its 2021 value. Google's properties face similar devastation, and Meta's offices are unsellable at any price. If your pension is exposed to UK commercial property, it has already lost 30 to 50%, even if you don't know it yet. When reality is finally admitted, millions will discover their retirements are destroyed. UK banks are also at risk. They lent £200 billion to tech companies and their employees. Many of these loans are now toxic. Barclays alone has £11 billion in tech sector exposure, with 43% non-performing. The ripple effects are only starting to hit, and London's tech-driven economy is unravelling faster than anyone has been willing to admit. Lloyds has £8 billion in exposure, 37% distressed. NatWest, £6 billion. Essentially, almost everything is bad. Personal lending is even worse. Tech workers borrowed at 8 times their salaries, assuming perpetual employment. Now, with unemployment skyrocketing, they're sitting on million-pound mortgages. Mass defaults are inevitable. Official stress tests assume 8% unemployment. In tech sectors, it's already 24%. Their models are fantasy. The reality is catastrophic. When defaults hit critical mass, by first quarter 2025, they will trigger bank crises, and there's no safety net. National debt is at GDP parity, there's no capacity for intervention. This time, banks fail. Tech workers didn't just buy houses, they supported entire local economies. Shoreditch restaurants are closing weekly. Premium gyms sit empty. Boutique shops are bankrupt. Everything dependent on tech money is dying. Schools are hemorrhaging students. International schools charging £20,000 a year can't fill classes, while state schools in tech-heavy areas see massive enrollment drops as families flee. Even crime patterns are shifting. Bicycle theft is down 60% in Shoreditch. Why? No tech workers with expensive bikes to steal. Burglaries show similar declines. Criminals notice what officials won't admit: the money's gone. The construction industry is devastated. Office to residential conversions cancelled. Luxury refurbishments on hold. New builds abandoned. 20,000 construction jobs lost just from cancelled tech projects. Here's what happens next, month by month. December 2024, Amazon announces another 5,000 UK cuts. Christmas spending collapses in tech areas. January 2025, Q4 earnings massacre. Every tech company cuts more, with an estimated 30,000 additional UK layoffs. February 2025, commercial. Property funds freeze redemptions. Pension panic begins. March 2025, first major developer bankruptcy. Hundreds of projects abandoned. Property prices accelerate downward. April 2025, emergency intervention fails. Markets ignore it. June 2025, London property down 40% from peak. Mass negative equity. Social unrest erupts in former tech areas. September 2025, UK officially in recession. Tech unemployment hits 40%. Property transactions essentially stop. December 2025, a grim new reality is established. London as a tech hub is officially dead, and property values stabilise at roughly half their peak levels. Of course, every collapse has winners. Middle Eastern sovereign funds are raising £100 billion property funds, waiting for 50% discounts to buy entire districts. Chinese state companies, using shell companies to bypass restrictions, are positioning to acquire critical infrastructure disguised as property investment. American private equity, Blackstone, BlackRock, KKR, are explicitly targeting UK distress, turning owner-occupied housing into permanent rentals. Ultra-wealthy individuals who cashed out in 2021 and 2022 sit on billions, waiting to buy back at 20p on the pound. They saw this coming, they caused it, and they will profit from it. Here's what nobody wants to admit. This isn't cyclical. London's tech era is permanently over. The ecosystem took 20 years to build, it has been destroyed in 2. You can't rebuild it quickly. The talent is gone, investment gone, confidence gone. What replaces tech? Nothing. Finance is automating, law is shrinking, consulting is offshoring. The high-wage jobs that justified million-pound properties simply don't exist anymore. London is becoming what pessimists always warned: a museum for banks, tourism and financial services. Not enough to support 8 million people at current living costs. Young talent won't come here. They're moving to Dubai, Singapore, Austin, Berlin, anywhere but London. The brain drain is permanent and accelerating. Behind the scenes, panic reigns. Budget projections are apocalyptic. Business rates from empty offices gone. Council tax from fled residents gone. Transport revenue is collapsing. The city literally cannot fund itself. Scenarios are being modelled where London may need a national bailout, but the country is broke too. The austerity coming will make 2010 look generous. Officials are trying everything, begging companies to stay, offering tax breaks that cannot be afforded, promising infrastructure that won't be built. Nothing works because the fundamental problem, the UK is no longer competitive for tech, cannot be fixed. Every announcement is more desperate than the last. The Google Hub? Google isn't coming. The AI campus, no funding. The biotech quarter, pure fantasy. Let me be absolutely clear. This isn't speculation. It's mathematical certainty. 42,000 tech jobs lost equals £500 million in property value destruction. That's just the direct impact. Factor in multiplier effects, and that's £2 billion. Add confidence collapse, another £5 billion. Include commercial property, and £10 billion is gone. London property must reprice to reflect actual employment reality. That means 40 to 50% drops in tech-heavy areas, 20 to 30% elsewhere. No neighborhood escapes unscathed. Amazon's layoffs were the trigger, but the gun was already loaded. Overvalued property, excessive leverage, unrealistic expectations, systemic fraud in valuations. It all had to end. Amazon just started it. Officials can panic all they want, host summits, launch marketing campaigns, make speeches. None of it matters. You cannot rebuild an ecosystem that took decades in a few months. You cannot replace 40,000 high-paying tech jobs with tourism positions. The tech workers who transformed London are gone. The money that inflated property prices has vanished. The future London was building toward no longer exists. What remains is managed decline and endless blame. For homeowners in tech areas, the message is simple. Sell now or risk losing everything. For potential buyers, patience is the key. Prices have much further to fall. For London itself, the dream is over. The city that aspired to be Europe's tech capital is now a cautionary tale of what happens when a metropolis bets everything on one industry. The panic is justified, but it's too late. The collapse isn't coming, it's already here. Amazon's 14,000 layoffs were just the opening lines of London's tech obituary. If this has opened your eyes to what's really happening in London's property market, hit subscribe. I'm tracking this collapse in real time, and you'll want to see what comes next.